So, right, I'm on. Perfect. So I'm Oleg Pridiuk, and the presentation title is Unity, the tool to make your games multi-platform. And I'm going to talk a bit about Unity. I'm going to talk a bit about game dev, about games, and lots of other awesome things. But let's start from the question to the audience. So anyone from you guys have any experience with Unity? Like what? Okay. So there are some hands. That's inspiring. What about game development? Okay. Right. Anyone from you guys have published a game anywhere? I don't know, to the webs? Okay, right. So I guess you're guys here to understand the game dev thing overall, and how do you make, I don't know, something with games? I know, some money, some recognition. I don't know, how to make the world better with games. So let's focus on it. Yeah, how do make the world better slide. Actually, I'm one of the mobile engineers. Oh, okay, I used to be one of the mobile engineers at Unity team. So I had spent like 3 years, a bit more, with Unity iOS, with Unity Android. But I talked a lot, probably too much, so they decided. So they actually had sent me out of the office in the field to talk to you guys. So now my job is to travel and to talk and to teach and to explain and to, well, help you guys. So feel free to reach out to me for anything Unity. So let's try to associate Unity with something. So this slide, anyone recognizes? Okay. So Temple Run, that's Unity. And this nice piggy, well, that's also Unity. Next thing is a bit more, I know, for hardcore gamers. Who gonna know this time? Okay. No, come on, you know all these things. Right. So that's CSR Racing. It's also made with Unity, and it looks cool. Right. And yeah, this title, I guess it's a bit dark, but that's The Room, a very nice puzzle. And I mean, I can continue at that list, but let's put a summary slide. So you can see the list of supported platforms, and the list features BlackBerry 10 now, and it features BlackBerry Playbook, and probably it features everything else you guys would like to target with your games, and it also features a very small list of games that are made with Unity, just to inspire you and to prove that, well, other guys use the tool and they can like it, and probably that's a great sign. One more great sign is this graph. That's basically the number of times Unity users have launched Unity Editor a month. Lots of millions, right? And I mean, like, you come to work, you launch Unity Editor, and then you have very little reasons to close it until the end of the day, right? So, meaning Unity is kind of a standard now. Lots and lots of users use the editor to create something cool, and we can have 1.5 million registered users, meaning 1.5 million people globally have downloaded Unity, installed it, and kind of logged into the system. And our stats say that we have almost 30% of the users who use Unity on a monthly basis. Right, and yeah, and maybe let's go for the cool stuff. That's the yes. Hello, Unity. You can see the BlackBerry 10 option here, and that's the new thing. And it is available as a kind of closed alpha, probably. That's the proper name for it now. Meaning that you cannot get it from the internet. We're not selling that right now, but I'm here to show you that it works, and I'm here to show you how does it work. But let's maybe start from a quick Unity demo. So here's the thing. That's how it looks like. Why my resolution is not that good. I don't know. Maybe that's my PowerPoint that's broken. Yes. Yes, the proper resolution. You can see all the windows that you want to see. Well, the editor and the project open is the demo project that we ship with the Unity, and this is what you get for free when you download Unity. And so you can, I know, browse through it, see how it's done, look through the scripts. I know, say this one that launches the text editor. With the text editor, well, code editor, you can do the breakpoint thing. Then you can attach the editor and debug your scripts, and you can also do this when a game runs in the editor or on the device. And there is also a profiler that you can use to see why your game is slow. Like you launch the game in the editor, then you see the profiler window, and then you see what happens with your game, like what is on CPU, what is on GPU, memory stats, physics, right? So you see what code takes the most time, and you can see this also on the device. So that's a very quick overview, and next thing we're gonna do is that I'll prove that the build button works. So we select BlackBerry 10, then we do the player settings, and bundle, device address, and device address is what you get here. Development mode. Have you guys seen that menu already? Okay, so I have some developers here. Yeah, so the debug token, I mean, like, you need to install the debug token, you need to enable the development mode, and to enable it, you have to enter your password, and basically that's what you... Yes. Too much buttons. 3. Yes. Where I was? Oh, okay. So the password. So you install the token, then the IP, then the password, and then you enable the development build. This is how it is now. And then you click build and run. And that builds the project. And it automatically installs the project to your device and runs. It takes a bit of time, right, to pack it, to make that file and to send it over the USB cable. So let's meditate for a moment and feel the pleasure.
I wasn't here the first few minutes. Do you use both C# and JavaScript?
I'm yet to cover it.
Okay. But there are two ways of scripting.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, there are two ways of scripting. I'm going to cover scripting. I'm going to cover lots of stuff, but feel free to guide me. Maybe I'm covering what you're not interested about.
When you're building for BlackBerry 10, do you build for the Z10 or Q10? Or
Right now, I mean, the plan is to support Q10 and Z10 and Playbook when it has it's dark because it's loading, and it's loading so long because it's a debug build, like development build. So it's larger, it has some overhead. So it's dark by design, it's loading. Yeah, so that's what you have in editor and that's what you have in device. Let's get killed. Or maybe, okay, let's get killed.
that's a playbook, right? Or no? Devices?
Okay, so let's gonna stick to one thread. Multi-threading doesn't work with me right now. Yes, so let's get killed. I was to answer about device support. So right now we support like BlackBerry 10, right? And meaning both Q and Z devices are supported. Playbook device is supported via Union. One of our like it's our publishing initiative. Let's call it that way. But when the Playbook gets BlackBerry 10, I mean, no, I cannot see anymore. Yes, it was too violent. When Playbook gets BlackBerry 10 support, you'll be able to target Playbook as well. Also, while we're here, let's get killed in another game. Yes. What you're seeing right now, that's a popular title made by Madfinger Games. They implemented it for a... No, that's too violent as well. Okay. It was implemented for a number of platforms. So they started with Unity and they implemented it for all the mobile platforms they wanted or that were available. So now it's also on BlackBerry. They even made the port on the Flash. So as you can see, Unity is available there as well. And maybe one more thing I demo right here. Something less violent. That's the Union I mentioned. Something less violent. Just to show you guys that it's not only 3D titles that you can make with Unity, but 2D works as well. Okay, see, I won't get killed this time in this game. Yeah, so 2D games, 3D games, 2.5D games, multimedia apps. People use Unity for that, and kind of succeed. I've mastered my send to the yes. Okay, let's switch to the editor now. To the editor. Okay. See, 3 buttons is too much for me. Right? Is it good? Yes, so right. I was to explain the technical details. Yes, you can use C# with Unity, and I mean, I opened the okay, it's again shows a bit not the best parts of what I'm showing. Let's I guess I'm switching the inputs too often. Please. That's a bummer. Come on. I'm doing my best. Maybe I unplug and plug it again.
Just switch away from it. Now adjust your resolution.
Okay. That's what I was clicking.
Maybe, yeah.
If it was Windows, I could just reboot it, I guess, but it's not Windows, so rebooting may not fix it. Okay. Well, yes, so I was to cover the scripting thing. Basically, that's the problem. Please work.
Can I unplug your mouse?
Yes. Do this. Okay, let's do it like this. While we're having some technical fun, I can answer your questions in advance. So the first question about the scripting, you can use C#, you can use JavaScript. JavaScript in a way that, I mean, the syntax is very JavaScriptish, but the API is, well, of Unity. We're using Mono for running your scripts, Mono runtime. So for some platforms with JIT, for some platforms with AOT, like compile ahead of time, for example, for iOS. for a Windows Mobile 8, for example, we run on the native .NET implementation on that operating system. Also, you can use your plugins, meaning that if you want to attach, I know, some plugin for running the ads, right? So if you have a plugin that can run on BlackBerry, so a binary thing, you can attach it to Unity as well, and it just works. And it even works in a way that, I mean, since Unity is multi-platform, it's kinda, you just create a plugins folder, create Android, iOS, and BlackBerry folders inside, and then put your corresponding plugins into the folders, and it just works like with a single code base. And in your scripts, you just have some if-defs, like if BlackBerry used that thing. Like ultimately, for multi-platform development, you can still get a single code base just with if-defs, textures, sounds, 3D models. They can common between all the platforms you're targeting. Unity converts textures and sounds specifically for the platform. For example, for BlackBerry, that would be PowerVR texture compression for PVR-based devices. Some of Z10 devices use PowerVR chips, or compressed especially for Adreno GPUs for Qualcomm-based devices. That's again Z10. Sounds, that's gonna be MP3 thing, and you can. I mean, if I could show you player settings, you'd see that there is like a setting per platform. Wow, I love this one. But it was cool. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. I won't click any more buttons. I was talking about the player settings. So like here, player settings, I know. Let's see a texture. So we're clicking on texture, one of them, right? And here are settings that are per platform. So for web, you can have it like, I know, compressed to, I know, DXT, for example, or uncompressed, like RGB32. For BlackBerry, you can have it compressed to PureRTC, and so on. Like for each platform, you can define texture compression and texture resolution, so that your artists create, I don't know, high-resolution textures for the web, for powerful machines, and then you scale the textures down with Unity, meaning that you have a single texture that is optimized for all the platforms. Similar with the other settings. Then you have quality settings, where you define the fallbacks, like what would work on what platform, like the quality definitions for each platform and how would it work. Back to the coding part. So that's how the code looks like. So the famous if-defs. For example, this one also includes BB10, along with other mobile platforms. And that's actually JavaScript, not C#. But you can actually mix C# and JavaScript code within a single file actually. Like you can use .NET in JavaScript as well, since some functionality is unique to .NET things. Okay, am I moving to right direction, or should I cover like more about multi-platform, more about how do you code, how do you create projects, how do you master your scenes? How do you make the scene? Anyone against that I showed how do I make a scene? Okay. The workflow with Unity is that, I mean, you start with an empty scene, right? So you don't have anything. Then there is such paradigm as a prefab, like base object for something. So I don't know, you create something awesome, for example, a cube. You put a texture or material on it. Material, I want material, I know. As awesome as this. And I know, then you create you create your game object. You put some scripts. I know what we're gonna do with that cube. I know a script, for example. Mobile bloom. Then there is a neighboring window. Let's actually put it like this so you can see. That shows the game view. Like here you create your scene, you master the cameras, you create objects, and in the real time you see what would user see, right? So that's the game view. In the scene view, again, you're creating the scene. Then as you're done with the game object, like a brick for a game, right? You build up the scene from the bricks. Like logical elements, you create a logical element of the game object you've just created. I don't know, let's make a folder BB10, whatever. And then you create a prefab, an empty one. Empty, but cool. And now we can see what you've just created, so like an object. And then you can use that object to build your game. So like this. Well, and you create the scene. I know. Again, empty BTU cool. Yes. So it's like this. Then you have an inspector. Inspector isn't it too tiny? Or I'm too picky? It looks better on my screen. Sorry, guys. Inspector window is where you see the properties of what you're creating, right? So remember we're creating in the empty thing on the top, right? So like it has a transform that you can use to move the object in the 3D world, and it has a mesh, right? Collider, renderer, camera. We can actually turn the camera and see what happens. Oh, so the prefab approach. I mean, I told about the bricks that you use to build the game, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that the changes you make to the one of the bricks can be applied to the rest. And that's what makes it useful. No, remove component. Yeah, but let's remove something. And the camera. And now we can apply, and all the other prefab changed. So this is how you build your scene. This is what you see in the game world. Like only two things here. Why? Because, well, where is the camera? Here's the camera, and we can kind of modify how the camera looks like. I mean, probably it's a bit hard to boot up quickly with that, and that's why we provide trainings. I think I had it, script reference. Okay, let's just Unity training. No interns, yes. Whatever. So if you Google unit3d.com training, you're gonna find the free training, and you can use it to boot up with Unity quickly. It's a bit like mixed. I wanted to show one thing, then it broke, and then a bit off the track. So you can tune my presentation to your needs, guys. Anyway, so I mean, did I answer the question? How do you master the scene? Okay. Let's open the proper scene now. So what's cool about Unity is that artists and level designers and programmers pretty much see the same, meaning that you can use either asset server to kind of like store your scripts, or as a subversion, or perforce mercurial third-party solutions where you store the code and the project, and so your team members commit stuff there, and they see what you see. Like programmers, artists, they all feel the same and see the same. So that's very crucial. Essentially, artists works in Photoshop, in Maya, and sees things differently. Right here, artists can drag the object into the scene and make it look pretty, something that programmers cannot do, and commit the stuff, and then programmers can master the code. Even more, since the editor, like what you see here, the code that we used to run to create the interface, it's pretty much exposed to the user, meaning that you can overload the interface, you can customize it, you can create all the buttons, menu items, custom things here, and meaning that programmers can make the Unity window look in a way that it suits like the process of your team, like so that the artists don't need to change the code. Like for example, if there was a script, I know. It's whatever. Imagine artists need a quick access to this variable. Actually, since it's public, it should already be like exposed in the. It's a game menu. Where's the player? Yes. So any variable that declared public gets into the inspector, and then you can tune it immediately. So that's a camera preview, right? And this is how it looks like in the editor. If there is something more complex, you can again just make a custom menu, and then your non-programming team members can master it to the way it works with your process. Also, what's very useful and cool that there is a, actually I'll verify if I get an internet to show you another cool thing. There is an asset store. An asset store is completely built into the editor, and you can use it. Oh yes, and you can use it to get some bricks for a game, plugins, assets. I don't know. For example, say we needed, I don't know, a tree. You just type thing, what you need, and then you get a pack. I don't know, or you need a car, and you get a car. So then you asked about plugins. For example, I want a plugin for Twitter. Right, I get immediately things. I mean, probably you won't use, I don't know, the 100% of the code of the plugin. Most plugins come with the source code. So you can modify it upon your needs, fully customize this thing. Meaning that when you pay, for example, $37.50, and you save your programmer a full day of prototyping the thing from the scratch. You can modify it. You can base your own thing on this, but I mean, it's very quick and efficient way to save time. So you have audio, you have textures, you have 3D models, you have scripting things. So it saves lots of time, and also you have lots of free things. And free things include full projects. Sometimes they can include music packs, as you see, right? So like, and even shader editors. Also, we're often asked like something like, "Hey, I'm an architect or I'm an artist. I want to create something, but I cannot code." No problems. There are visual scripting editors within Unity that you can buy and make your game logic from the nodes, like this. And then if you don't program, if you cannot program, you can still create something cool and awesome. I don't know. Like if you're an architect, probably you make your, for example, an environment for the room, and then you want your customer to see it. So you use Unity, you import that model from Maya, from Max, then to Unity. Then you get a camera inside. You make basic movements for like forward, backward, left, right, maybe some other, change camera angle. Then you publish that probably to the web player, or to Mac, Windows, Linux standalone, and then your customer can see it. By the way, this functionality is available for free. So okay, we have 20 more minutes left. While I've started to cover the pricing, I probably should say that there is no entry barrier for Unity. Like the basic version is free, and and with the base version you can publish to the web player. So that includes native client, Google native client. Then you can publish to Mac, Windows, and Linux. But you lack some pro features like profiling and some more. To get to the platforms, the cheapest mobile license is $400, and it also comes with some limitations. The Pro license for mobiles is $1,500, and it also requires Unity Pro, and that's also $1,500. Meaning that if you want to publish to a mobile platform, your budgets should start from $3,000.
If I catch that, let's say you get the basic version, is it then $400 per platform? Let's say I want to publish to BlackBerry 10.
So the question was about entry.
Two platforms, BlackBerry 10 and Android.
The question was about entry prices for mobiles. So yes, you start with $400 per platform.
Okay.
I won't cover BlackBerry 10 pricings right now. I have slides for that, but I'm afraid to switch, so I won't. I won't announce BlackBerry 10 pricings right now, since that's something we're yet to announce. Same for the ship dates. So we don't know the ship dates right now, and so I cannot comment on that. But yes.
Yeah. So, as an indie developer, what would you recommend me to start? So, would you recommend me, for example, to get the Unity 3, test it on PC, and if I feel comfortable, upgrade to one platform, try to deploy, or then how will it upgrade to the next version?
Well, the question is, how do the indies start with Unity and?
More or less, how would you recommend us to get our hands into it?
Essentially, I recommend it that, it depends on your experience. It depends on how much money do you have in your pocket. Essentially, what I advise, that you start with Unity free and verify that you love Unity. It may be that you don't. The idea is that, when you pay nothing, you don't feel obliged to continue with it. Unity is a tool. It's not the ultimate solution to all your pains. You should see if it works with your team. You should see if it works with your process. It's a bit similar to, for example, Mac OS. Either you like it or not. Unity automates lots of stuff. It has some assumptions. So for the best possible experience, you should make it. Let's put it. You should make it the Unity way. If you make it your own way, that kinda disagrees with what Unity assumes, then you'll have to explain Unity that it shouldn't make that assumptions, and that involves scripting, and then it involves, it may be lots of underwater stones that you need. For example, if your team is made of very experienced render engineers, it may be complex, since rendering engineers love to create rendering stuff themselves, and then everything else except for what they created feels stupid, and then it's kinda hard, and then they want to do stuff themselves, and it may be complex for a team. But yeah, the basic idea is that you get the free version, you make the prototype, you hack some stuff in, you create the scene. With basic version, you can work in teams. You can have the subversion thing working. So you can collaborate. But when you have something working, I know the prototype, I know that soldier guy, right? Something that's close to how you see a game. Maybe then you can attract some, I know, investor money applied to incubator, and then you can see whether you want the cheapest version, maybe you want the pro version, if the budgets allow you. With the free version, you can also get the touch input from the remote device. So, I mean, you can prototype your game with a free version and then decide if it works for you or not. We really want to be indie-friendly, and we designed the workflow so it works for small teams. We try to make Unity really flexible, so you can make 3D titles, so you can make 2D titles, so you can make augmented reality things, so you can make serious games. For example, in interactive installations, lots of ad companies use Unity for this kind of things. So the tool is very flexible. The tool is fully customizable, and we try to make it work for everyone, and we try to make it awesome and suitable. And we have free support, we have paid support, and paid support means that you pay a monthly fee, and then you're sure that your questions get answered within 8 or 24 hours, depending on your plan, and then you control the quality of the answer. Like that, when our support team that is based in Brighton and is made of very skilled game dev engineers, so they know actually the stuff they're applying, they understand your problems since they had them as well. I mean, so they reply to your problem, they answer your question, they can advise you, and if you're satisfied with the advice, you close the ticket and you can ask another question. If you're not satisfied, you return the question back, and they have to provide you with a better answer within 8 or 24 hours, depending on your plan. So you're not lost. You're not up to forums or and whatnot. When you get with Unity, you have high quality support, and you also have free support, which basically is the same guys that provide paid support, just that paid support tickets are of a higher priority, and meaning that your question can be asked, say, not within 24 hours. Let's put it this way. It depends on the flow of like incoming queue. Anything else you'd like me to cover?
I have a question. There's these variables that I can change inside the editor, you said. Yes, so the designer can change the value.
Yes.
Does this preview go through the game render cycle so it actually has a visible difference?
Yes, basically that's what is cool about Unity. The question was about the inspector and variables. So if there are variables, can I change them during the runtime and see how it works? Yes, you can, and that's how it was designed. So that camera preview thing, let's put it, I don't know, to this way. I'm not sure what exactly it controls, but cursor push from joystick. I'm trying. Oh, health, for example. Let's make him die faster. So that's 7, right? See? Let's make him not die. Oh shit! Sorry. Yeah. So you can tweak the things in the runtime, and that works very nicely. Dead.
This also works Animation speed too.
The question was if it works for all the stuff. There is definitely some stuff that may not ultimately. I mean, if it requires the whole assembly to be reloaded, it may not work. If it requires some modifications that should be done offline, it may not work as well. But then you'll need to stop and to unplay and then play again, so it reloads stuff, and then you can see it. It's still, you don't need to deploy to the device all the time. Also, it's cool for designing the level, since I'm just trying to position it properly. Okay, that doesn't work that nice. Okay, let's put it this way. For example, what do we want? It's like we can try to modify the level, but trying to find a better example. Like this crate, we can move it. I guess it's static. That's why I cannot move it. So not static objects can be moved. So this crate, up, up, up. It's physics based, right? So that's why I can do this thing. And this is, I mean, you can tweak your level in the real time and then see how it works. And like, not on, while actually playing your game and interacting with the object, it's not like play, pause, play, pause. So it makes the iterations really quickly, and it makes you create and master the things very fast. And yeah.
How about support for device APIs like accelerometer?
Okay, the question is about device APIs, and we have the input class that is basically an interface for the whole input, including the sensors. And we made it as abstract as possible, meaning that you don't have a BlackBerry accelerometer input, Android accelerometer input, iOS accelerometer input. You have input.accelerometer, acceleration actually, and acceleration events that work across all the mobiles. So when you make your character controlled by the accelerometer, and you make it for the BlackBerry, then you export to another mobile device, and it should work in a similar way. I mean, we're aware that accelerometer input and the way accelerometer works, like axis, for example, and sensitivity, differs across the platforms and devices. So we try to make it work in the most common way, meaning that you may want to put some if-defs and tweak, but we do our best so you didn't have to. It's a similar way with other, like gyroscope, for example, and input overall. For example, for the touch, right? When you're making your game for BlackBerry, it assumes you have fingers, and you don't have a mouse, right? So when you export that game to the web player, for example, it would assume mouse as the first finger, the first finger of the touch, right? Again, it would allow you to iterate very fast and to have the prototype working across the different platforms very quickly. your game would launch on another platform, but you would probably want to re-implement input or to make it work better with a target platform. There are also, I mean, for really device or platform specific APIs, we have that as well. Probably like this, right? So you would if-def that code so it doesn't execute on another platforms. You can also make the code run only in the editor but not on the platform. And yeah, I guess I covered plugins already. We'll have a few more minutes. Yes, that's the thing. I can mention it but not explain, so thank you for helping out, actually. Unity Remote is a kind of thing. Well, basically it's an app that is installed onto the device that catches the accelerometer, touch, and gyroscope, and submits that to the editor. So when you're prototyping your game with the editor, it uses Wi-Fi to stream. The editor streams the picture, like compressed picture in JPEG format, to your device, and the editor catches input from accelerometer on the device from that app, and this is how you can build your game very quickly, a game only within the editor, without the necessity to deploy to the device that often. And as you've seen, that's not the fastest process in the world. That saves time, that saves money. Well, that's all about Unity. It saves time and money, and yes. That's a good note. That's a good thing to finish probably the session. Moreover, we have only 1 minute left. But if you have something urgent, we can discuss it right after. I'm here. Probably the last thing I wanted, probably I'll show the last slide. I was asked to do that. Oh, okay, wrong thing. Yes. I didn't forget to use to explain SSStar. I covered the pricing, and that's the slide I was to. Okay, it's a bit off. Well, that's the slide I was to finish the presentation. But again, I'm here, so catch me, puzzle me, and well, I'll do my best.